Sweet. Looks like we are live. What's going on, guys? Welcome to another edition of the NarikChase channel. I'm NarikChase, and in this video, we're going to be doing another character ranking episode. Now, if you hadn't seen the first episode, we did Jared Leto's Joker last week, and we really had a good time, and it seemed like a really good idea that we're going to do with these episodes. So stay tuned with us. For those who hadn't seen that, Character Ranker is basically a series where we rate characters based on movies that are based on either books, comic books, manga, anime, video games, live action portrayals of characters, just generally that. And I think we're going to extend this also to the television series too, so like Arrow and The Flash and Jessica Jones and Punisher. Like we're just gonna dip into that. So these episodes we are going to be ranking these characters. That usually it's 4 categories that we do rank these characters on: the character itself, the performance by the actor or actress, the overall design of the character, as well as their role in the movie. Surrounding them. So there is a lot to actually like, guys, when it comes to this. So go ahead and stay tuned. In this video, of course, we're going to be talking about Poison Ivy, portrayed by Uma Thurman in the 1997 Batman movie. And for a lot of people, that movie was extremely bad, and it was bad for a lot of reasons, including Uma Thurman. Uma Thurman, unfortunately, because she's one of my favorite actresses. So it's kind of messed up seeing that she got into a really, not only did she get into a bad movie, she played a pretty bad role. But anyways, guys, without further ado, let's get on into this episode of Character Rank. All right. Now, Poison Ivy, of course, let me go ahead and give y'all the actual specifics of who the character is. I should have got this out the way, but I'm stupid like that. So, Poison Ivy is actually a villain or a character in the DC Comics universe. She's usually portrayed as being this eco-terrorist with, here you go. Poison Ivy's real name is Pamela Lillian Isley, a Gotham City botanist obsessed with plants, ecological extinction, and environmentalism. One of the world's most notorious eco-terrorists, she uses plant toxins and mind-controlling pheromones for her criminal activities, which are usually aimed at protecting endangered species and the natural environment. And that's basically what we kind of get in the movie. Now, as far as the character of Pamela Isley, I found the character to be extremely poorly written, much like everybody else in the movie. She has no likable qualities. She has no personality. She has no development as a character. Why she just all of a sudden, which I didn't understand this about Catwoman and Batman Returns either, is the fact that, okay, there's really no development with the character. When they discover their abilities, they automatically know how to do everything. With the moment that she turns into Poison Ivy, she knows that she has venom in her lips and all of this stuff. I'm like, no, this should have been an actual developing arc of her discovering her abilities. That give her character evolution. That evolution will lead to having a much more well-rounded character. And also how she, even though she, and this is one thing I argued, is I would have liked to see more from a transformation of her fighting her trying to maintain her humanity. Now, in the new Wonder Woman movie, Kristen Wiig is going to play Cheetah. Cheetah is Barbara Minerva, who ends up getting cursed by this hunt, the goddess of the hunt, and in some depictions of the character, she's fighting that Earth just killed. And I wanted to see that with Poison Ivy's character. Unfortunately, we do not get that from her character. Even though she's a plant botanist or whatever, she should have had some developing arc to where, okay, yes, she's here for plants, but she cares about humans. And then as her transformation goes on, you see her perhaps care less about humans and more about plants. If you ever seen the movies, the show Z Nation, Murphy is a zombie human hybrid, and of course, yes, he's he does care about humans to a certain extent at the beginning of the series, but the more he is with his zombie nature, he's starting to care less about humans and more about the zombies. That would have been a fantastic developing arc for the character of Poison Ivy in this movie. Unfortunately, they gave us a really cartoony, really one-dimensional, really over-the-top character that just has no depth to him, like whatsoever. Like I said, there's no battle with her between her humanity and her transformation, and not to mention all of these ridiculous one-liners, which we will go ahead and accrue to the writing. But still, the character could have been so much better, and I would love to see like a reboot of that character portrayed with more depth, with her discovering who she is. Like even with her powers, she the pheromones and stuff. She knew how to make that. Like, how did she make that stuff? And I'm all for like I'm all for villains having more of the abilities rather than making having the technology to kind of make it somewhat. So like with Poison Ivy, I kind of like I do like the Arkham series version of Poison Ivy compared to the series where she's playing in Batman, the animated series, because she's a mutant. She's mutated by flowers and stuff. It isn't just that she likes the flowers. She's actually a part of the flowers. She actually can feel the flowers and stuff like that. So I enjoy that aspect of her character. But in this movie, you get maybe one or two sequences where it seems like she's controlling plants, which is another thing I wish they would have done a better job on, is her being able to control plants. I would love to see her control plants. But we don't really get that in this movie. So, when it comes to the actual performance of it, I've always liked Uma Thurman. I think she's a great actress. She's done some pretty diverse roles. She's actually really good when it comes to action sequences. She's really good with depth, too. She's even pretty good with comedy and drama. So, and like I said, she's very diverse. However, in this movie, and it's, again, accredited to the writing, but I have to say, just over the freaking top. Uma Thurman completely hammed it in. She was phoning it in this entire movie. I don't think there was one sequence where she was like, okay, she did just gave the character any kind of depth, any kind of good performance. There was even one part where she's locked up and she's peeling the petals off a rose, which I don't understand why she did that, because you're killing the flower. But okay, and she's doing he loves me not, and all that. And even that was freaking over the top. Like, I didn't understand that. If you're gonna have this kind of character, give this character some depth. And it goes back to why the character was just a crappy, cartoonish, over the top, and retarded character. But like I said, it'd been nice to see the character have some kind of depth. There was a moment of clarity with the character in the transformation, that she's acknowledging the transformation or something like that. Really, the only person that gave the only person that really gave a decent performance is George Clooney, and George Clooney played George Clooney in the movie. But I have to say there was nothing about a performance that just gave the character any kind of depth whatsoever. And that's an exceptionally big problem. As far as the overall design, now I see that they were kind of going for the animated series Batman, I think, because she's human. She might have some abilities, but it's not actually physically showing. So she's going to wear the costumes and stuff like that. And it kind of, again, it goes back to the movie, because everybody it's all about style and fashion and stuff like that. And that's what it felt like this movie was with her character. She felt like it was just a big fashion show. You didn't... and I did like some of the outfits. The outfits weren't bad or anything like that. It was just, they weren't necessary. So it didn't really make any sense for her to have these outfits the way she did. Think about it. Her first appearance as Poison Ivy. What is she wearing? This like all plant like outfit. Why? Why in the hell would she be wearing that crap? You know what I mean? Like, it didn't really make any sense. And I'm one of those people. If you're gonna make a live adaptation of a character of a story or something like that, it doesn't necessarily need to be 100% to the source material. It don't even need to be necessarily be 80% to the source material. But if you're gonna have a character that's gonna dress up in a costume or something, have that costume to where it's actually plausible. It makes sense for that character to actually wear that outfit, and that's one of the biggest problems I have with this movie. Now, I'm not gonna say that she isn't hot, because the outfits really do make her look exceptionally hot. In fact, tell a quick fact about me: when I was a kid and I watched this movie, I fell in love with. I ain't had nothing better to do. But I actually fell in love with this woman in this movie, and it's kind of makes me feel bad, because when I was a kid, I thought this was actually a pretty good movie. But having said that, like I said, I didn't actually mind like some of the designs, like this picture right here, for instance. Like, it does look like the design from the animated series, and and to some extent, yes, I don't really mind, because it is. It's a good nod to the actual series, but it's kind of some of the other outfits that she wears, like even now with her hair. Like, what is the point of her hair being like that? It doesn't add it. It doesn't. I mean, yes, it makes a character look cute, makes the character look good, but it doesn't make you take that character exceptionally seriously like that. And like I said, yes, it's plant themed and everything. It looks pretty cool, but it feels over the top. It feels just too cartoony. It feels like and again, Batman and Robin is a movie made basically for kids, and another reason why it bombed. Nobody likes it like that. But like I said, I have no problem with some of the outfits, with some of them. This is probably the best outfit of the movie, and I actually like that. She looks sexy in it. It reflects her theme about plants and stuff, and I can honestly see her wearing this in the comics. And it does feel like in this movie, it felt like one of whoever was a designer or something felt like they looked through every comic that's ever been done about Poison Ivy, and they decided to put those outfits have at least one scene in this movie, each one of those outfits. That's what it felt like in this freaking movie. But I jumping back to what I wanted to say earlier, there's one sequence where they have this ball or something, or this gala, where they're bidding on this jewel, and it had this whole like jungle theme, Brazilian jungle theme to it. And she was dressed up in this outfit and literally looked like she was a part of the event. So it's like, are you a model? Sometimes she comes on the screen looking like a model. Sometimes she comes on the screen looking like a stripper. So, but given I'm a fan of the Arkham series, and even some of the adaptations later on outside of the Arkham series, I would have liked to seen more physical change of the character. Yes, her hair is red, and unfortunately, it's that reddish type color that you can tell, like you put dye in her hair. It was a little bit darker and a little bit more faded, and it looked more authentic, or to make the hair color look less cartoonish, made it look more realistic. Yes, I would have liked to see maybe a green tint to her skin or something like that. Yes, I would like to see perhaps her fingernails or something like in her outfit right there, where she has like the red tips on them. Like, I would like to see perhaps her fingernails were slightly transforming reddish, or have that tint to it. Her skin have a green tint to it. Perhaps see slight veins or something. Even her eyes change to like a greenish color or something. That would have helped and made it gradual. That would definitely help make this character feel more authentic than what we got in this movie. Now, as far as the movie and her roles in this movie, we all acknowledge Batman and Robin is a shitty movie. The worst writing, acting, characters, almost everything about this movie is bad. The only thing about this movie that's half decent is kind of like the visual aspect, because it's so vibrant. And she's definitely one of those characters in the movie that's like, wow, I am here. So I like that about her character. And I thought that, as far as visually wise, yes, I guess you could say the movie is good. But it's no wonder people don't like this movie. The idea of Poison Ivy just teaming up with Freeze isn't a bad concept. Her motivations for it, I'm not really feeling the motivation. She wanted to team up with Mr. Freeze because Mr. Freeze is freezing stuff, so she like is attracted to him. So that's why she decides she wants to hang with him. That's dumb. Ivy gets a ton of screen time, but there's literally no development of the character. That's absolutely true. Does not make any sense. There's no interesting quirks except her liking plants, pretty much. And even when she turns into poison, even when the character makes a miraculous and exceptionally fast transformation, she becomes very narcissistic. And yes, she's narcissistic, but at least in the comics, she kind of has a reason to be because she's actually a badass. Like, there's a sequence in the movie where she fights Batgirl, and she can't. Like, I'm not understanding. Like, she shouldn't be able to. Like, I don't see any fighting. I don't really see Poison Ivy as like a fighter because she uses plants to do her bidding and stuff, and uses other people to do her bidding. So in this movie, she can fight a little bit, but she still gets her ass whooped. But her role in this movie, and even though it's an exceptionally interesting one, because I can see her trying to get Bruce Wayne to kind of perhaps not stop all the way, but try to convince him to kind of think about the environment, which she did in the movie. That is an interesting story plot that I did like. Yes, she tried to be like, okay, Bruce Wayne, we can do this. We can save the planet if we just, we can save the planet. We just stop cutting down all the trees and stuff like that. Okay, fine. That's an interesting storyline, and I can see where that can build to her becoming a exceptional bad guy. But the movie just completely hams it up. It's not gradual. It's like she turned into Poison Ivy. She said she was going to do it. She go talk to Bruce. All of a sudden, she's a supervillain. Fine. Wow. I don't understand that. And also, there's literally no backstory or exposition given on this character. Where she came from. She got family. You know what I'm saying? What does she like to do? She has any former lovers? There's literally nothing. And there's even no mention of why she likes plants. Like, what got her on the got on the path to botany or anything like that. So that would have been a lot. The movie could have did a great job of supporting this character better if they actually focused on a more solid storyline, perhaps taking out Mr. Freeze, because I'm all for two villains being in these superhero movies, but they got to make sense for being in the damn movie. And I feel like Batman and Robin should have been either Freeze or Poison Ivy, and because of the way the movie was, it didn't work out with either Poison Ivy or Freeze. So, as far as the movie itself and her role in the movie and everything that's surrounding the movie, it sucked. Now, I do like the bit where she's kind of pitting Batman and Robin against each other. That was an interesting story plot point too. There's another thing about this movie that had great potential, but it was sorely misguided and mishandled. But having said that, my final verdict for Uma Thurman as Poison Ivy. I do like some of the concepts around the character, and I think Uma Thurman can give a very compelling performance as Poison Ivy. Unfortunately, in this movie, that chance was just completely butchered. As far as the character, cardboard character, completely forgettable. And if it wasn't for the cheesy one-liners and all the fashion around the character, nobody would talk about the character whatsoever. The performance, over the top, and she was just hamming it up. The overall design, way too flashy. And again, if your character looks good but has no depth, it does not matter. So, and even again, when it comes to the movie, everybody agrees the movie sucks. So, unfortunately, the movie sucks. I guess through nostalgia, you know what I'm saying, there's some part of me that's like, I still want to kind of bump it up a point, but I can't. Uma Thurman, I'm sorry, have to give you a 1 out of 5. That's just how I have to call it. And I wish Ken were here or Madam B were here to give their their perspectives on it too. But hey, I'm here. So sorry, Uma Thurman, Poison Ivy from Batman and Robin got a 1 out of 5. So guys, in the comment section below, let me know your thoughts on Uma Thurman's performance as Poison Ivy. Did you like her? Did you not like her? Did you agree with any of my points? Is there any other aspect to the performance and the character that could have been done better? Or could have been potentially added to do better? But anyways, guys, in the comment section below, just let me know your thoughts on that. Be sure to hit that like, share, subscribe, and that notification button to get the best of what's going on the NarikChase channel. Remember, Tuesdays and Thursdays, definitely working on Tuesdays, guys. Sorry about that. Trying to work on them Tuesdays. We do put up videos, so we'll catch you guys later.